Some of the neighborhoods in District 8 are the Castro, Glen Park, Noe Valley, Diamond Heights, Mission Dolores, and Cole Valley. Hello, I am Rafael Mandelman. I am the supervisor representing District 8 on the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. I had always been interested in politics and public life, and I grew up in San Francisco, and when I was in high school I had an internship working for a supervisor on the Board of Supervisors. And as I got involved in local affairs when I was grown up, at some point it seemed like it made sense to run, and so I did. So when I was running in 2018, we focused a lot on homelessness and mental health issues as priorities for me and priorities for the district and the city. My mom suffered from mental illness for a big chunk of her adult life, and she started getting sick when I was, or very sick when I was 10 or 11 years old. I moved up to San Francisco because she wasn't able to take care of me anymore, and I had a grandmother up here, but I, of course, continued to follow her life, and as I could, tried to help her out. But she had a rough second half to her life. She lived in institutions and board cares. She was in a homeless shelter for a period of time. And I saw, that there are folks with these significant needs, and I think that has informed my approach to governance and my priorities as an elected official. Last year, the Governor Newsom and Senator Eggman in the state Senate and Assemblywoman Irwin worked to put Proposition 1 on the ballot in March. And that's a big investment in housing and treatment for people with severe mental illness. Proposition 1 does a couple of big things. One is it is a very large bond, $6.5 billion, for housing, beds, placement, locked and unlocked facilities for people with severe mental illness. That's important because we haven't had those kinds of funds available for that, and of course we used to have state mental hospitals. We've largely closed those. We have not replaced those. So this is the most significant investment California will have made in replacing the state hospitals with something better and more community-based. I think anyone who goes out on the streets in San Francisco can see that there are folks with real needs who are not having them met right now, and I'm hoping that Prop 1 and what we do with implementing it in San Francisco will help us to better meet the needs of some pretty sick folks. I think the Country Club is a very special place. The Castro is known for a number of things. It's the place where Harvey Milk had his camera shop, and where the queer civil rights movement and political movement of the last 4 or 5 decades started. It's also known as a great destination for queer people. A lot of that is about bars, the great nightlife, and that's great. There's also a darker side to that, which is there's a lot of addiction in the queer community.
Originally, when we were founded in 1983, we were a coffee house that was helping folks recover from the epidemic of the AIDS crisis. Over time, over the last 41 years, that has changed. And now what we are is we are a nonprofit that has a focus on the queer recovery community. That's our focus, but the center is open to everybody. We host 46 in-person support groups a week, ranging from Crystal Meth Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Overeaters Anonymous, Adult Children of Alcoholics, Recovery Dharma, Smart Recovery. So we really try and cater to the entire community and all the things that they might need health and wellness from. Folks need a community of support to heal from substance use disorder. Given the current circumstances here in the city, that folks are gonna need a place where they can go, meet their friends, hang out, get supportive services around the things that are hurting them, and then just have a place where they can just be. That's the magic that happens here. That's the magic of San Francisco, community organizations, small and mighty, that are doing really good work to help people move forward.
I benefit from this entity because when I have questions about substance use disorder, about how to tackle the challenges in the neighborhood or in the city overall, I can turn to the folks at the country club who have lived experience with most of the addictions there are, and can tell me, what's going to work or what's likely to work, what's not likely to work. Cliff's Variety is another just great Castro institution. Super committed to the neighborhood at a time when retail is struggling, not just in San Francisco, but around the country. This is a beloved store. They provide jobs for lots of folks in the neighborhood. It's a family that has seen the transition in the neighborhood. They were here when it was a more Irish working class kind of neighborhood, and then they saw and welcomed all these queer folks coming into the neighborhood and really changing the neighborhood, and they embraced that.
Do you think this is your color?
Wow,
All right.
that's amazing.
Okay, and how much are the gloves?
The store was started by my great-great-grandfather in 1936. It started as a used greeting cards and magazine stand and evolved with what the neighborhood needed over the years. My great-grandfather was a fix-it man in the Tenderloin and was in a motorcycle accident, and while he was recovering, he was fixing things in the back of his parents' store, and that's how he started carrying hardware items. And literally, he could fix anything. When you walk into my store, you're walking into the most fantastic place you've ever been. Walking in the main store, you're going to be greeted by rows of board games and toys, and then all of a sudden you're in hardware land and housewares land and party and paint. And if you walk into my annex, you're immediately greeted by drag queen eyelashes and shoes and fabric and every gift item you could imagine.
It is kind of a throwback to a time of the general store when you would go to one store for anything you might need, ranging from your drag outfit that you might need for some party or performance to something you need to like fix your sewers or your walls or to repaint, or maybe just a gift to take to someone for a holiday or a birthday. So they got all the stuff.
Hey. We like to say, if we don't have it, you don't need it. Literally, we have everything except for food and clothes.
Every neighborhood in San Francisco is struggling somewhat with the impacts of our failure to successfully address the mental health needs of our mentally ill population. And so as I look 10 or 20 years into the future, I think it will be brighter to the extent that we have found a way to meet the needs of people with addictions, with mental health challenges. That impacts each storefront, each store owner, the employees in those stores, and people just walking around the neighborhood. And I'm hoping that, today I think walking around in many of San Francisco's neighborhoods, people have to think about, why are we not doing a better job of caring for these people? And my hope is that 10 or 20 years from now, because of the work I do and the work other people do, that people won't have to constantly ask that question, that we'll just be doing it. And I think that will now allow for a flourishing of these neighborhoods. These are beautiful neighborhoods with beautiful buildings and views, and we just have to meet the needs of the human beings who've kind of been left behind and are on our sidewalks and in our doorways.